and I guess we'll get the years out of the way since we're talking about years. I just started my 37th, believe it or not, a couple weeks ago. So I have had the blessing of finding this at an early age, and I've been a third-party headhunter, executive recruiter, whatever you want to call me, for 36 plus now. And my niche is pretty simply defined, and I've interacted with several of you throughout the career, or I've seen your resumes because I've been doing the same thing for so long. And in essence, we place software salespeople, and we do it here in Colorado. So we're very niche, very specialized, if you will. We represent technology companies based here in Colorado for the most part, and we place sales and sales management personnel. You know, when I started my career, I was lucky enough to help the foundation of Oracle because I was kind of the only one, and they were starting. And, you know, we did some work with big companies in those days. I built a company, but the last 10 years or so, especially since the Great Recession, we're really very focused on early stage venture-backed SaaS companies here in town. And, you know, it'll be interesting if we get a chance to talk about how that's changed and how, frankly, in some ways it limits Sherry and I in terms of the candidates we really can be of service to. The good news is it's very lucrative and our business is booming. The bad news is the clients are very particular about what they're looking for, and we're very plugged in. So happy to help in any way that I can, and thrilled to be here.
Thank you, Doug. I'm Doug Thorner. I have a company called Drumfire. We're a human capital consulting company. We work with primarily technology companies, and we help them build out their sales teams, much like what Jordan does. But the difference is we consult with them and kind of come inside and work with the company and help them grow over time. So we do long-term agreements. Wearing a Zoom shirt today. I'm doing business with Zoom. We're looking to add about 100 plus salespeople in the next 6 months just in Denver alone. We do it nationally. We also work with international companies that are looking to build their businesses in the U.S. I don't know how long I've been doing this anymore. I used to lie and say 5 years. When was that? 3 years? And then 8 years. I'd say 10. And 15. I'd say over 15. And once I kind of got into around 16, 17, I stopped saying it. So it's making me feel a little bit old. But I don't know. Somewhere I think I'm getting close to 20 years of it. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you, James, for inviting me. James is a regular participant in my startup organization. So thrilled to be here. Happy to answer any questions. Happy to help. There's a few familiar faces here. Ask me whatever you want. I'll answer it the best of my ability.
Real quick about Doug. Doug actually has not been in tech all his life. Give us 30 seconds about how would you learn from oil and gas?
Sure. I spent 7 years in the oil and gas industry, not working with the majors or super majors, just working with independent oil and gas companies that were in high growth mode. So in that industry, primarily similar manner, consulting with companies, helping them add engineers, geologists, land people. Prior to that, I spent, gosh, now you're going to figure out the years. Prior to that, I spent 9-10 years working in financial services, working with growing financial service companies nationally. Through all of this, I've had multiple companies on my own. In some cases, I've merged with other companies. In some cases, financial services, everything kind of crashed and burned along with my company. So I switched to oil and gas. You may want to stay away from me because the industries I've worked in, they've all done this and they've all done this. This is good times. It's only a year into this one. Give me about 3 and I'll be here talking about a different industry.
April.
I am by far the least qualified to be on this panel. I hear 30 years. I'm 30 years old.
Diversity.
I'm looking forward to learning a lot from you guys since you've been doing this significantly longer than myself. I've been in IT agency recruiting for 3.5 years, originally from Atlanta, primarily staffing from Atlanta through the East Coast and Baltimore over to Chicago. So I can tell you the market between the East Coast West Coast is very different. I was talking to you guys about it a little bit. In Atlanta, hour commute to work, 2-hour round trip is totally normal. In Denver, if it exceeds 25 minutes, or it's not a bike ride, people aren't interested. So there's a lot of cultural differences to adjust to, but company I work for, Chorus 360 IT solutions provider. So we sell several lines of business. IT staffing is an arm of what we do. The gamut in staffing, so software development, and I have a position open with, it was actually your digital marketing background, so I'd love to speak with you afterwards, but the whole gamut of IT staffing, so yeah, that's my background. Second?
That's fantastic.
Okay.
April, thank you so much. Now to kick off the actual discussion, what I'd like to do is ask, well, first off, any key questions from the audience for our panelists? Now, I have a list of topics to go over, but I want to know, I want to have this as interactive as possible. Any key questions from the audience? Otherwise, I'm going to just domineer everything. Right?
And if you have a question in mid-thought, raise your hand or get one of ours attention too. I mean, we definitely want to interact with because we're here to learn.
Yeah. All right, if there's no questions, what I'm going to do is kick off with a topic, and then hopefully that will spur other discussions. Now, I'd like to ask our panelists, and anyone can start off, is there anything that you wish your candidates knew before they started engaging your services, be it internal or external?
I think I would like them to know who the client is and who the candidate is, because this is a common problem that comes up. Everybody that is on your side of the road thinks that you are the client. You are not the client.
Yeah.
The client is the one who pays.
Is the pays the money.
Right, but it is a big problem
Yeah.
because the dynamic is different and how you approach and work with candidates is different. I think it's something that a lot of people, not everybody, recruiters only have about maybe 5 to 8% of the job market, maybe 10% now, but it's still not huge. And so not everybody has interaction with recruiters.
So along those lines, I have a question.
Go ahead, exactly.
It's
That's
kind
what
of along those lines. So how are there? I don't know how to ask this, but are the majority of the clients paying versus the people that are looking to get recruited? Is there still a market for me needing a job, coming to you and paying you money to try and find
a
it?
recruiter for a job.
That's what I'm looking for.
Because there's actually laws against it in most states, but since the recruiter cannot guarantee you a job, or the job that they would give you may not be the job you want, you should not pay them for the job.
And obviously, if there's other services that they offer, that's different.
That's different.
If I can interject,
Sure.
I am fortunate enough to have started when there were quote-unquote APF and EPF. APF was an applicant paid fee. Okay. Believe it or not. I think that went away in, I want to say, 84-ish. Somewhere in that time frame, 85 at the latest. So that's, and as Colin referred, I'm pretty sure that's illegal now. So everything is paid by the client company in this day and age. And the distinction, if you guys are interested in working with a quote-unquote career coach, career consultant, whatever you want to call it, it certainly can be valuable. Whether it's for resume writing, whether it's for actual, like Colin was referring to about behavioral interviewing, consulting. Those are things that we sort of build into our process, or try to. We spend a lot of time doing interview prep, but we don't charge for it. You guys become our product, I like to say, if and when you're engaged in one of our searches. But until then, you're not. And The clients are the people that pay us. They're the ones that tell us, frankly, they give us our marching orders. They tell us what to do. And I think, you know, to answer the general question about what I would want candidates to try to understand about dealing with recruiters, with third party, you know, headhunters, executives, whatever you want to call us, is that the way I look at it is that we're paid to get as close to perfection as possible for our clients. And in our judgment, by trying to analyze your resume and interpersonally relating to you, if we don't think that you're there, then we've got to make that decision and move on. And the best thing to do is try not to take that personally. It has nothing to do with your value. It just has to do with your fit for that specific requirement. And that's the toughest thing about doing what we do. That's why, frankly, I like the term headhunter, because I am a headhunter. And I do get paid very often to move a candidate from a competitor to my client. And that's the ideal scenario, right? So I think that's the message I think candidates need to understand. It's a numbers game. And don't let it take you down if we can't help you. Just move on to the next.
From an internal perspective and having done both sides of that, I would absolutely echo everything that they've said from the staffing side. There's plenty of recruiters. We've got some wonderful companies up here. Those are free services, resume review, interview prep. Those are things that the recruiter you're working with typically can do for you if they feel that your skill sets are going to be beneficial to them. I still do it, and I'm not doing the staffing side, right? Just to kind of help people, because to me that's intrinsic of what I love about our industry. But from kind of the internal perspective is, you know, you can still reach out. I'd say it's tough because we all have these applicant tracking systems or black holes, which we all refer to them as, right? And I totally get that.
Garbage can.
We just implemented one. I implemented one earlier this year, and it was literally like, I think, a basic name and address, email, and upload your resume. Because I'm like, I don't want people to have to spend time, because I hated spending 40 minutes inputting a resume and then like times out or glitches or something. It's a very frustrating process. But you can still reach out to the recruiters. Many times there's, you know, we're all on LinkedIn, I'm sure. You can find out who's in recruiting or talent acquisition. And I would say follow the process of whatever instruction is on a posting. If you're looking at a posting, if it says click here to apply, do that. But there's no reason that you can't reach out, and I encourage people to reach out directly through LinkedIn as well and just say, I saw the posting, here's why I'm interested in Wowza. I have applied, and would love to have a chance to talk to you more about it. I will make a point of going in and looking up that resume. I may get 100 or 150 resumes for the position, but I'll make sure I go in and look up that individual that reached out to me directly. And so that's something that I think gives you that extra little bit of an edge as you're dealing with the internal. Some, if it's a giant company, again, it's more personal. I'm the one that's doing it in our company, but I've done the Fortune 500 talent acquisition space as well. And if people reached out, then I just took that extra moment and looked up their information. Because one thing with it, if you think about if you're getting 100, 150 resumes, sometimes more for for a sales position. If I'm going through just from a timing perspective, right? And I have multiple requisitions internally that I'm working on. I only have so much to spend on each thing. So if I go through my first 50 resumes and I found 5 people that I think look like they're a great fit, I'll reach out to them and work on screens and then move on to the next one. You may be resume 60, and I don't get to you, unfortunately, because I have to manage that time. But if you do the LinkedIn, I will at least look the person up and a lot of times have that conversation.
Yeah, something, Mike, one moment. Something Andrea did today, which was sort of smart, was she was interested in a position at a particular company and did her LinkedIn research. And she sent me an email today saying, Bob, you know somebody at such and such company. Can you provide an introduction? I did some research. And, okay, yeah, I talked to this guy in 2015 when I was job hunting for Oracle. The guy will probably take a call from me. He'll take a referral email, probably accept a phone call. But Andrea will probably get shot to the top of the resume pile because she took the effort to find out who she knows at this company and who can provide her an introduction and bypass the black hole.
Trying. That's what everyone's trying to do, is bypass the black hole.
But that's just one smart thing to do. Mike.
So question, when you submit the resume for LinkedIn and you mention, people, good ideas to contact you directly, what's the percentage that people do actually find, they send the resume and then they contact you? Is that common or is it very rare?
It's small. I was at DeVry and I was for one of their coding sessions and I was a panelist there, and there were probably 50 people in the room, and we said, here's one thing that tends to work. Because they were asking, is it okay if you invite someone out for coffee or if you do this? And they're like, sure. Plus, maybe a little policy up and ask to take us out to coffee all the time. So out of that 50, I had one person that actually reached out to me afterwards. I met him for coffee. We interviewed him. He was second, unfortunately. But we would absolutely reach back out to him if we opened up a similar position.
Let's say that they didn't reach out to you, then he would have been out in the black.
I wouldn't have even thought of him. Because he was right out of school. Maybe a little lighter than we wanted. One other just thing real quick, because I know from the search side, you are looking for 95%, 100%. There have to be fees. The companies have to decide if they want to invest in that. We will still on occasion, not often, but on occasion, we will work with search firms as well. I'm expecting them to get me 95 to 100% match. As a recruiter, if I have 80%, I'll bring the person in and interview them, and we hire a lot of that. So I can be more flexible because it's not costing my company $20,000 or $30,000 additional to do that. So there's a little bit different just on that percentage that match that we're looking for.
Andrea, April, sorry, Doug, any?
No, just to piggyback a little bit on what everyone's saying, I think it is important to understand that it's not always best utilizing us per se, a little bit different in the internal side of it. I mean, the reality is, if the company is going to pay us, whether it's a situation that I presented that the company's paying me a monthly consulting fee, they're not looking for me to bring in people that want to transition into this type of work or are fresh out of school and want to go this direction, because those are the people they feel like they can find on their own. They're looking for us to do what Jordan's talking about, finding a superstar job that does this job somewhere else. And then we can kind of use our superpowers to get that person to leave that company and go there.
In the same vein, when we reach out to them on LinkedIn and we're asking them to look at different opportunities, I would say at 20 connections that meet the criteria, I think it's one or two. So those, that's the roll of the dice. You don't know if that's going to happen. And if those two are really the A players. But when a recruiter reaches out to you on LinkedIn, I always say, why don't you just respond? Right. Why don't you just respond back? I don't understand why people go, I don't know, that's fine. That's fine. But half the time they don't even reach out. LinkedIn is the profile and the podium that we use. And if people don't respond to me, I don't understand. We live in the digital age and we cannot reach, Jordan used to tell me, he used to go and call companies. He'd call, his recruiters used to go in and call the companies and find out who they were and find out who's doing this and literally try to recruit candidates over the phone. And I get to the point where I get their phone numbers and they don't even respond. To me, I don't understand.
I think
Dominic.
Twist that around a little bit, because having looked positions, and that company or recruiter might reach out to me.
Right.
And start the dialogue, things get going, and as a candidate, I'm trying to follow up.
Right, and they don't.
And then that's it, it's crickets. You don't get any response.
See,
so
that's wrong.
okay, I'm glad I'm not.
That's the
No, it's wrong. And everybody that deserves
even if
and there are
go away and talk to me
anymore.
But just what I don't want to say, that happens so much, and we've had those kind of conversations in some of our meetings here, where that seems to be it's almost normal now, not to get a response back when you're a candidate. And all you want to do is yes, is no.
So they reach out to you, you send the resume,
and maybe you even stuck in the process.
And nothing happened.
And then
ghost.
And
To use
that's
the
it. It's
modern
dead.
term, the ghost.
And then you try to follow up, you're trying to be a good
Well, then you
candidate.
don't want to work with them anymore. That's my own.
That's what I would say. I think
The bottom line is you don't want to work with them.
Okay, go ahead.
So, agency recruiter, if I have someone who reaches out to me on LinkedIn or a job board or whatever, I'm gonna look at their resume. There's no way I'm just gonna delete an email from a person. That's what our business is connecting with people. I will tell you, I still have a little black book of folks that weren't a fit for a job that they applied for, but I still keep in touch with them because something's gonna come in. Right. I'm gonna a more junior position or a more dev-focused position or whatever to make them more of a fit. But I would say if you have recruiters you're reaching out to that aren't going to respond to you, they're from large conglomerates.
Yeah.
What about the company itself? You need to do the internal recruiter or maybe
So
somebody within the
that's
company?
something that.
It's just a combination. So that complaint that you just raised, that issue, is the #1 complaint about recruiters. And that's, unfortunately, there are recruiters that do that, and it tarnishes the reputation of recruiters that don't. So I think people very consciously make the choice that they're going to make sure it's what we do, it's a people business, and others that don't. From a company perspective, just a couple things. Again, many times it's done through the applicant tracking system, right? So you don't get to all the resumes because you can't, and you can't have conversations with everybody. You can do things through the applicant tracking tool, right, to be able to send emails out to people to give disposition on it. But many times that does not happen until the very end of the process. And sometimes it's like way later because you're like, well, I'm going to keep it open just in case, or I get resumes or whatever the case is. They're excuses, right? There's not a reason to do it. But that's many times what I've seen happen. And then I've seen times where people, I worked with Newmont Mining for about 5 years. We had up to 21 people from talent acquisition when gold was really high. And so, with that, you have so many where positions were open, and you find out, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't close this one out. Now I have all these people attached to it. It's been 6 months. Do I send that note now? And now it just insulted everybody. Then 6 months later, when they haven't even heard, like, you applied 6 months ago, we picked someone else. So there's a little bit of that when you have that, but most companies have some sort of tool.
So let me give Stacy credit on this. I originally ran into Stacy about a year ago this time, and I saw an ad. I got through the first 3 steps of the process, and then they put it on hold and went with an internal candidate. To Stacy's credit here, she went in a private space, was as professional and was kind and was polite, and a year later we're still talking. So here's something to consider in this process. The good ones will treat you with respect. They're the ones that you will build the relationships with. They're the ones where I've tried sending Stacy a couple people, junior people. So when we're hearing about this process, yes, I still go through the frustration. Everybody's going through this frustration. But on this entire panel, we've heard the same thing. So when the good treat you good, return the favor. Real quickly, can we move on to the next subject? And let's start with April. What is the biggest mistakes people make on their resumes?
This one's fun. I think IT background, so this is obviously different from sales folks, which salespeople can tell you if you're a salesperson on your resume, have metrics, have numbers. What value did you add to the company? That's what you're there for.
Scorecard.
Yes.
A scorecard.
Yeah, your accomplishments. And keep up with that. Like, keep up with the brag book. Like if you get salesperson of the month, it may seem silly or whatever, but it means something like, IT, app dev is my favorite. So I get a lot of application developers that on the resume think that that's their portfolio, and they do all kinds of chaos and craziness. I follow my PR background, keep it simple, stupid. Just put your resume is a story. So make sure that you're including a story in your bullets, but make sure it's simple and it's to the point. Otherwise, it's just like 7 pages of nonsense that a hiring manager isn't going to want to go through. And as an agency recruiter, a lot of times I have to convince that. So then I have to take the time of, chopping up a resume. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go through 8 pages next. So keep it simple, keep it to the point, but remember it's a story, so sell yourself. If you worked on a project, tell me about the project. What position did you play? What vital part of the project were you on? And then your tech stack, obviously, is important.
Doug, what are some of your thoughts on the process? Like, what are the biggest mistakes that you see?
Yeah, I would say two things. I would say kind of dead zones, spans of time that got lost. It was job 1982, and then all of a sudden jumped to 1990, and there's just space there and nothing. And obviously there's situations where that's your reality. Took time off to raise your kids, take care of your sick mother, whatever. But I think it's important to put some sort of note there, some sort of explanation. I think one of the most important things is just not to assume that someone's going to look at this resume and understand that this meant that this company you work for went out of business, and everyone who's going to look at my resume is going to know that. I would not make assumptions like that. I would provide explanations in scenarios like that.
Right for your audience, maybe?
Yeah.
But isn't that the recruiter's job to explain those lapses? How I look at it, my candidates tell me exactly what I have. And I put that in a resume might be able to.
Right, but my point is, if someone sends a resume, and I'm not talking about necessarily to me, but in general, like they send it to an internal recruiter or directly to a hiring manager, there's 100 resumes that have been presented, and one of the resumes has gaps of time where there's nothing in it. There's never going to be that dialogue. That conversation will never occur.
Actually, Mike had a question.
That's great. How many pages do you recommend on a resume?
So I have some customers that give me numbers. Don't send me a resume beyond 3 pages or 2 pages. So I always ask my client, what do you want to see? Because obviously I want them to give me the time. Because as much as I'm an advocate for my candidate, I'm also trying to make money, right? Full circle. So depends on the customer, but usually 2 to 3 pages. If it's a consultant who's worked like 40 different places, then there's some leeway there. But I think 2 to 3 pages is a safe number from what I've seen.
I would say it used to be, I would get it on 1 page, right? Well, most of us have been working enough time, we can't get it on 1 page. But now, because it's all digital and you just scroll through quickly, it's a little bit different. But I would agree, 2, no more than 3. I get, 14. When I was a new mom, I get 14-page resumes. It's crazy.
It's a dissertation.
Yeah. You want to know about their hobbies on the last one.
Yeah.
I would definitely have
Colin, what do you think? I mean, you've been a little bit quiet for a while.
Okay, so I was going to publish a little piece on LinkedIn about this. Does anybody remember what a muumuu is? It came out in an article of clothing that nobody looked good in, okay? No matter who you were, okay? Well, most resumes are the one-size-fits-all. And if you're in your career about 20 years, you could do a lot of different things. So if you can tailor your resume to fit the job, and maybe have 2 or 3 resumes, or 4 or 5 or 10, but a resume that is a one-size-fits-all that really doesn't say much of anything, and then you're sending that resume out to everybody, answering ads like that, it gets less response than if you write a resume that is specific to the types of jobs that you could do. So that's one really important thing. It's a pain in the neck to write a resume. I fully agree to that.
One for every job.
But
it's a lot of work. Just to take your base and just mold it into what they were looking for.
But you can also subtract out stuff that you know is not going to be interesting to the reader.
and highlight stuff as well.
Yeah, so
switch bullet points around.
And then the other thing that I would add is spell check. It's a magical thing on the and I don't know how it works. It's somehow when you press a button and they show you all the mistakes. Well, I was recruiting an advisory level engineer from Lucent some years back, and the guy had 67 errors.
What? Oh my God!
And I reported it to him, and I asked him could he fix it, and he said no, because I'm too important. I said, okay, well then you're too important for me to recruit. You're not here to him.
Yeah.
Real quick, can we get Jordan? Can we get a 30-second from Jordan?
Yeah, it's very simple for me. again, what we do is very specialized, but for us, it's very simple. Numbers sell and words don't when it comes to sales resumes. So not only is what Stacy said absolutely accurate, anything that you've accomplished that's specific to your track record, you have to have on there. But I would say in concert with that, you have to have less words. So actually, I don't like stories. Stories should be very important in project management. They're not important to me. Now, I'm completely jaded, okay? I know how to decipher resumes based upon all this experience that I have. But we get resumes that there's too much verbiage, there's too much storytelling. What we need to know is who you've worked for, what you're selling, and who you've sold it to. Other than that, it's numbers. And nothing else is important. We have a 26-year-old son that is in the software sales business, and we've helped him with his resume, and that's all it is, it's numbers. And he just got a great offer. So now he's getting counter-offered to death. So now the CEO is trying to take him out to dinner. I've been fighting against counter-offers my whole life, and now my son is considering it.
We have a question on this side.
Yeah, actually, Jordan, you touched on a good point in the fact that your viewpoint is that you kind of want less story, more